Hi, good morning to one and all. So, today onwards, engineering mathematics 2B, in that in my previous lecture, had to complete the mathematical induction and the partial fractions. How we have to able to solve by resolving the partial fractions, and whatever the statements or the propositions or the results, so that may be available in our mathematics course or any other core subjects. That is, we have to prove by using the mathematical induction. These concepts you have to see in the previous class. Today onwards, so we have to start the next session, that is unit 2. So that is the trigonometry. So before going to enter into the actual syllabus, so we have to know what are the applications of the trigonometry. So these concepts we have to see where this trigonometry is to be uses. So that we have to see, that is the applications. So we have to see in that session only. Okay. So now trigonometry. What is meant by the trigonometry? So the learning objective of this trigonometry is, after completion of the session, the student may be able to learn. So the concepts of, that is, the student acquire the knowledge of, the student will be able to understand the concept of angle and identify its sign and the type. Because there are so many trigonometric ratios are there, that is sine, cos, tan, and the cosecant, secant, and the tangent. Likewise, there are the 6 trigonometric ratios are to be available. So how these ratios we have to use in the real-time applications, that we have to see. So that knowledge may be acquired after completion of this session. Now, second one is convert from the declined degree to degree, minute, second form, and vice versa. That means if any degree, angle is to be given in the degree, that we have to convert it into the radians and the gradients. Suppose if the given ratio is to be, if the given angle is to be in radians, how we have to convert into the degrees and the gradients. Likewise, after completion of this session, the student may be acquired this type of the knowledge. Now, the third one is convert the measure of the angle from radian to degree and vice versa. Radian to degree and degree to radian, gradient to gradient, and gradient to radian. Likewise, this knowledge has to be acquired by the student. Next, fourth one is evaluate the trigonometric ratios associated with an acute angle of right angle triangle. So suppose the angles are to be available, so that already, so you got an idea. So in the lower classes, that is acute angle and obtuse angle. So what is meant by the acute angle? If the angle is to be in between 0 to 90, then that angle is called as the acute angle. So if the angle is to be greater than that of the 90, then that is called the obtuse angle. So after completion of this session, the student has to be acquired the knowledge of evaluate the trigonometric ratios associated with an acute angle of a right angle triangle. Suppose if a right angle triangle is to be formed, then how we have to evaluate the sine, cos, tan, and cosecant, secant, tan. This knowledge may be acquired after completion of this session. Now, fifth one is solve the right angle triangles. So if we given two sides are one acute angle and a side. Suppose in a triangle that is having two sides are to be given, then automatically, so by using the laws, so we can able to find the third side and also the angles. So likewise, this knowledge may be acquired by the student after completion of this session. Now, before going to the actual syllabus, actual subject of the trigonometry, so where this trigonometry is to be useful. So introductory activity, that means let us take some examples from our surroundings where the right angles can be imagined to form. Suppose whatever we have to see in the daily life examples, so if a student is looking at the top of the tower, a right triangle can be imagined to be made. Suppose the person has to be there, suppose he may be looked so at the top of an object, then So that means there must be in that, so a right angle triangle is to be formed in our daily life. That is the best example. Okay. So if a student is looking at the top of a tower, a right angle triangle can be imagined to be made. Likewise, so this is the person. So this is the person. So this is the person. This is the person. So now, this is the object. The person has to be seen, so with some angle. So then, so here the right angle triangle is to be formed. We have to imagine like that. And also whatever the bread that should be. So that means we have to cut in the form of a right angle triangle. So in all the situations, distances or the heights can be found by using some mathematical techniques, which comes under the branch of mathematics that is called as the trigonometry. So this is the main important application. So whatever the objects is to be there, in that how much distance is to be there between the person to the object. So this trigonometry main have to useful for this purpose, for finding or for measuring the distances and the angles. So here, how we have to define the trigonometry? Trigonometry is derived from the Greek words that is called tri. Tri means that is called the tree. And gon. Gon means that is sides, and the metron means that is the measures. So in fact, trigonometry is the study of the relation between the sides and the angles of a triangle. So in a particular way, what we have to say that the trigonometry is to be, so the relation between the sides and the angles of a triangle. Now, so this is the historical background of the trigonometry. The history before, so that is ancient India, so that may be used the trigonometry for finding the distances and the angles that may be used in that. So that is the trigonometry is to be used. So the historical background of this trigonometry is, the history of the trigonometry dates back to the early age of the Egypt and Babylon. Angles were then measured in degree. It was then advanced by the Greek astronomer Hipparchus in the 2nd century of the BC, who compiled a trigonometric table that measured the length of the chord subtending a various angles in a circle of a fixed radius r. So and also, this is also another way. Okay. Next one is the historical background. The history of the trigonometry dates back to the early age of the Egypt and the Babylon. Angles were the measured in degrees. Before that, that is the angles are to be measured in only degrees only. So it was then advanced by the Greek astronomer Hipparchus in the 2nd century of the BC, who compiled the trigonometric table that measured the length of the chord subtending a various angles in a circle of fixed radius r. So in the instant, that is nowadays that trigonometric angles are to be so find by using the length of the chord and subtending the various angles in a circular a fixed radius r. So in that. So next one, this is also the in the previous that is in the BC, that BC to 1900. So the trigonometric angles are to be measured in this way. Now, today's topic is the topic to be discussed. So here in that, the trigonometric ratios and the trigonometric ratios at specific angles, that is 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees and 60 and 90, and trigonometric ratios at complementary angles, and the trigonometric identities on the angle of elevation and the angle of the dispersion. So these concepts you have to see in this session. Now, so before in the slides that may be discussed that tri means that is what? 3. So that is sine, cos and tan. These are the only 3 trigonometric ratios are there, and cosine and secant and cot. These 3 are the reciprocals of the trigonometric ratios. That is why here sine or cos and cos, secant and tan theta and cot theta. These are the 6 trigonometric ratios are to be available. So now, so here please, this is called the right angle triangle. So in that right angle triangle, in the triangle triangle, this is the right angle at this B. So, and this is called, this is the angle theta, and this theta, for this theta, BC is called as opposite side and BA is called as the adjacent side. So, this is called as the opposite side for the theta, opposite side for theta, and this BA is called as the adjacent side or the base of the right angle triangle, and this AC is called as that is called hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. Now, so consider a circle with the center 0 and the radius small r. So, let Px comma y be any point, Px comma y be any point, so on the circumference of the circle. So, join OP, join OP. O means that is the center and P is any particular point that should be lies on the circumference of the circle. Let the radius vector OP makes an angle theta with the positive x-axis. So, this is called, that is already we have to know in the previous classes. So, this horizontal line is called as the x-axis and the vertical line is called as the y-axis. So, in that, so this radius has to be make an angle with the positive x-axis that is to be theta, that is to be theta. So, let angle of XOP, that means at the angle, this is the angle. So, the angle at origin is theta and OP is equal to r, that is the radius of the circle, and draw PM is perpendicular to the x-axis. This is called the perpendicular. Perpendicular is nothing but of the angle at that particular point is to be 90 degrees. That is what we have to call it as the perpendicular. So, therefore, here the length of this OM is equal to x and the length of this PM is equal to y. The length of this PM is equal to y. All of you catch your point. Here what we did, had to take, consider the 1 unit or radius circle. So, and Px comma y be any point on the circumference of the circle, and OP is called as the radius, and this OM is called as that is positive x-axis, that is angle made, the radius has to be made an angle theta. So, with the positive x-axis, and OP is equal to the radius and OM is equal to, so that is x, I have to assume like that, and PM is equal to y, PM is equal to y. Now, so this is the right angle, that is already what we have to draw in this circle. Again I have to draw with this diagram. This is OPM and this is the theta is the angle made. So, with the positive x-axis of the radius r of a circle. Here r is equal to, this is the radius. So, I had to assume x units. So, this is the side of OM and this is the side of PM. This is y. Therefore, by the Pythagoras theorem, that means already we have to know this. So, this is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, that means OP square is equal to OM square plus PM square. That already you have to study it in the lower classes, that is 8th and 9th classes. In that Pythagoras theorem is there. So, in that the square of a hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the sides of a right angle triangle. This is already we had to study it in the previous classes. That law I had to use for finding of this value. R is equal to square root of x square plus y square. What is the side of length of the side? That is OP is equal to r. I had to assume like that. This is the radius, and this is equal to OM means that is x square plus PM means that is y square. This is r square. Then r is equal to, so square root of x square plus y square. So, this is what we will get here. That means I have to assume that is r is equal to square root of x square plus y square. That is why this is called as to be the hypotenuse, and this is called as the opposite side of this, because this theta has to be angle made the radius with the positive x-axis. All of you keep in your mind. Here you have to take the angle is to be theta and this angle is to be 90 degrees. So, for this angle, so the adjacent side is equal to OM and the hypotenuse is equal to OP and the opposite side is equal to PM. Please all of you keep in your mind. By using of this, so I have to define the ratios of the trigonometric whatever that is to be available. So, please all of you see this. So sine of the angle theta, that means sine theta, I have to define that one as opposite side by hypotenuse. Opposite side by hypotenuse. This is sine theta, that is the formula I have to use. This is so opposite side by hypotenuse. What is the length of this side? Opposite side means I have to assume this one has to be y. This one has to be y. Therefore, we have to take this value is to be y by, and hypotenuse means what we have to consider, this is r value. Therefore, so by r, y by r. That means already we have to define this one as to be square root of x square plus y square. In that similar way, have to define the cos theta or the cosine of the angle, so that is to be defined as adjacent side by hypotenuse. Here, that is cos theta is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. How we have to define this adjacent side? That means the length of the x-axis. The length of the x-axis, that is equal to, so this one is x, already we have to assume this one. That means the length of the x-axis. So that is x, and the hypotenuse means that already what we have to take, that is r value. Therefore, cos theta is equal to x by r, then automatically we will get x by square root of x square plus y square, because we have to consider r is equal to square root of x square plus y square. Now, so define, so that tan theta is equal to the ratio of sine and cos. That means, so here what we have to take, that is tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. From the diagram I have to take like this. So this is the theta. Now I have to define the trigonometric ratio tan theta here. Tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. So likewise you have to define that one, have to give the name, it has to be tan theta. Tan theta is equal to, this is y by x for x not equal to 0. Now have to define the reciprocals of the three trigonometric ratios, sine, cos and tan. So this is called the cosecant of the angle theta. Then simply we have to define this one as to be cosec theta and call it as cosec theta, and the reciprocal of the sine theta is equal to the cosecant theta. Here I have to define this one as to be hypotenuse by opposite side. That means already whatever you have to take the that is values, the reciprocal of the sine have to consider here, that is here y by r, and here we have to call it as r by y. So here the condition is to be y must be not equal to 0, because the denominator values must be not equal to 0. And likewise another angle is to be secant theta. Secant of the angle is hypotenuse by adjacent side. Hypotenuse by adjacent side, that is equal to the reciprocal of the cos. Therefore, that is equal to r by x equal to square root of x square plus y square by x. Here x values must be not equal to 0. Next, the sixth one is cotangent of the angle, that is cot theta. So the reciprocal of the tan theta, that is equal to adjacent side by opposite side. So that means here we have to take the ratio as to be y by x. Here I have to take the reciprocal of this, that is called as the x by y. Then this is called as the cotangent of angle. So or simply that is called it as cot theta. So likewise you have to define all the trigonometric ratios. Okay. Now, so here how you will get the tan theta value, that is opposite side by adjacent side. Here in this opposite side by adjacent side. So here tan theta is equal to, I have to write this one as to be opposite side by hypotenuse by adjacent side by hypotenuse. And similarly sin theta equal to opposite side by hypotenuse and cos theta equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. Therefore tan theta is equal to sin theta by cos theta. All of you catch my point? Now, similarly reciprocals of the relations. So here what we have to define, so sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Then simply you have to write this one as to be, so 1 by hypotenuse by opposite side, then that is equal to 1 by cosec theta. That means sin theta, the reciprocal of sin theta is cosecant theta, and the reciprocal of cosecant theta is sin theta. Okay. So therefore sin theta and cos theta are the reciprocals to each other. Reciprocals is nothing but of the product of those two values is equal to 1. That means here what we have to conclude, that sin theta is equal to 1 by cosecant theta. Sin theta is equal to 1 by cosecant theta. Simply have to call it as, that is cosecant theta is equal to sin theta, 1 by sin theta. Cosecant theta is equal to 1 by sin theta. Simply, so we have to call it as, that is cosecant theta into sin theta is equal to 1. That means the sin theta and cosecant theta are both two reciprocals to each other. Now, in the similar way, so cos and secant theta are also in that similar way. So here cos theta is, we have to define that one as adjacent side by hypotenuse. This I have to written as 1 by adjacent side by opposite side. But here we have to define the formula, that is adjacent side by opposite side means that is secant theta. In that place I have to take, that is 1 by secant theta. So here what we conclude that, so therefore cos theta and secant theta are reciprocals to each other. The meaning of this one is secant theta, I have to return this one as 1 by cos theta, or simply cos theta is equal to, I have to return this one as 1 by secant theta over. So cos theta into secant theta is equal to 1. That means the multiplication of those two ratios is equal to 1. Therefore, we will call it as those two ratios are the reciprocals to each other. In the similar way, tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. This I have to written as 1 by adjacent side by opposite side. But here we have to define the angle is to be, so our adjacent side by opposite side means 1 by cot theta. Therefore, this tan theta and cot theta both are to be reciprocals to each other. That means, so in that have to define this one as to be tan theta is equal to 1 by cot theta, and cot theta is equal to 1 by tan theta, and so tan theta into cot theta is equal to 1. So from these three relations, so we say that sin and cosecant theta and cosecant and sin theta are reciprocals to each other, and cos and secant theta, secant and cos theta are reciprocals to each other, and tan and cot theta and tan theta both are to be reciprocals to each other. This is what we have to conclude. Next one. What can do you with the trigonometry? So what we have to done, so after learning of this trigonometry, what you have to do with that? So historically it was developed for astronomy and geography, but scientists have been using it for centuries for other purposes too. And besides the other fields of the mathematics, trigonometry is used in physics, engineering and chemistry also, the trigonometry is to be used. So within the mathematics, trigonometry is used primarily in calculus, linear algebra and statistics. Since these fields are used throughout the natural and social sciences, trigonometry is a very useful subject to know. So in that many other, whatever in mathematics, not only that of, so in physics, chemistry and engineering subjects also the trigonometry may be used. That is why I have to learn here. Now, so measuring in accessible lengths. So how we have to measure? How we have to measure the height of a building and the width of a river and the angle of elevation and angle of the dispersion. These concepts you have to see. Now, angle of elevation. Angle of elevation is nothing but of, it is the angle formed by the line of the site with the horizontal. So when it is above the horizontal level, that is in the case of when we rise overhead to look at the object. So angle of elevation means here the person is to be there here, the person is to be there here. So by using of this, so he may be seen at the top of a building or top of a tower. So this is the object only, the person has to be seen like this. So here, so there is an imaginary line we have to assume. So the object is to be lies so above the horizontal line. Therefore, the person has to be look at that object. Then an angle is to be formed. This angle is called as the angle of elevation. Please all of you keep in your mind. Angle of elevation. This is the horizontal line because we have to imagine like this. here the person has to be seen the object. So at this eye, so in a horizontal line we have to assume. So with that horizontal line, he may be seen the object of that body. So then an imaginary line with the line, so that is the angle is to be formed. That angle you have to consider as the angle of elevation. Similarly, the quite opposite of this angle of elevation is to be angle of the dispersion. So how we have to take? Because here the object is to be, so the person is to be at the top of the level, but he sees the object at the bottom. Here also have to consider an imaginary line along his eyes. So here the person has to be seen the object, then the angle is to be formed. That angle we have to call it as the angle of the dispersion, or angle of the depression, whatever it may be. Okay. So likewise, this is the major difference. Please all of you know about it. Don't confuse about that. Suppose angle of elevation means the person has to be seen at the top of an object. So therefore, here have to consider an imaginary line through his eyes. Then, so the angle made with that imaginary line and that object has to be seen. So in that, that means an angle is to be formed. That angle you have to consider as angle of the elevation. So, and angle of the depression means, so if the angle formed by the line of sight with the horizontal, when it is below the horizontal level, that is the case when we lower our head to the look at the object. Here the object you have to consider like this. This is the major difference between angle of elevation and angle of the depression. Now, please I have to show some of the examples. What is the angle of elevation and what is the angle of the depression. So please look at the board. So this is to establish the height of a building, a person walks 120 feet away from the building. Suppose here the person has to be there in that building. So he may be walked about 120 feet. So at that place the person has to be seen the top of a tower. Then here had to assume the angle is to be 30 degrees. So by using of that, had to find the estimate, the height of a tower had to estimate simply. Okay. So at that point, an angle of elevation of 30 degrees is formed when looking at the top of a building. By using of these conditions, we have to find the height of a tower. So similarly, so second one is angle of the depression, angle of the dispersion. So here the person is at the top of a level, so and the object is at the bottom. So the person has to be seen. The body or the object. Here we have to assume. So that means the angle is to be 60 degrees. An observer on the top of a hill measures an angle of depression of 60 degrees when looking at the truck parked in a valley below. So if the truck is 55 feet from the base, so here the truck is to be 55 feet from the base only. Had to assume like that. So of the hill, how height is the hill? So by using of these conditions, we can easily find the height of a hill. So this is called the angle of the dispersion. So before that, there is the angle of elevation, and this is the angle of dispersion. Now, so this is also another important application of the trigonometry. So in between, so the branches of a river, so that means we have to assume how the length of the river. So by using of the trigonometry, we have to find. Next one, another surveying. This is called the clinometer. So it is an instrument which is used to measure the height of a distance object using the trigonometric concepts. Here the height of the tree. So using t, the concept is h is equal to tan theta into x. Before, so we had to show some of the examples how we have to able to find the height of a tower, height and the length of the rivers. So these concepts you have to see. So these are the only applications. That is why I have to show this one. Now, so this is the primitive forms of the trigonometry were used in the construction of these wonders of the world. This is what we call it as the pyramids. So in that the trigonometry is also to be used. Now, in architecture, trigonometry plays a massive role in the compilation of the building plans. So, for example, architects would have to calculate exact angles of intersection of the components of their structure to ensure stability and safety. Some instances of trigonometric use in architecture include arches, domes, support beams and suspension bridges. So, by using of this trigonometry, we have to find out this. Architecture remains one of the most important sectors of our society as they plan the design of the building and ensure that they are able to withstand pressures from the, this is also called as millennial trigonometry, has played a major role in the calculating the distance between the stellar objects and their paths. These are all the applications, real-time applications, and also in the astronomy. So, and also in our modern algebra, in that the trigonometry is also to be used to do. And also, this is also geologists had to measure the amount of the pressure that surrounding rocks would withstand before constructing the sky. So, trigonometry is used in geology to estimate the true dip of bedding angles. Calculating the true dip allows geologists to determine the slope stability. Although not often regarded as an integral profession, geologists contribute to the safety of many building foundations. So, and these are all the applications. Now, the next concept is to be trigonometric functions of the general angles. This concepts we have to say. So, before what we had to learn, in the trigonometry, how many trigonometric ratios are to be available, what are the formulas, and what is called the acute angle and what is called the obtuse angle. So, and right angle triangle, how we have to find the sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, and secant, cosecant, and cot theta. These angles how we have to measure. So, these concepts you have to see in the previous. Now, so by using of that the trigonometric functions of the general angles, these concepts you have to see here. This is called the, so trigonometry, this is suppose this is called as the horizontal coordinate plane, in that the horizontal line we have to assume as x-axis and the vertical line we have to call it as y-axis. So, this is the 0 degrees, have to start with the 0, and this is the 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, and this is 180 degrees, and this is 270 degrees. Again, we have to call it as, that is 360 degrees. 360 degrees. Suppose if theta is the angle made, so in between, so 0 to 90, that is called as acute angle. Acute angle, less than, before what we have to tell, that is the angle is in between 0 to 90, then that angle is called as the acute angle. Greater than 90, that is called as the obtuse angle. Now, the signs of the trigonometric functions, because the trigonometric ratios mostly depends upon the values of x and y. Please all of you keep in your mind. Here, since the radius is always positive, because we have to consider the unit circle or the circle is to be radius is to be greater than 2, whatever. The radius we have to consider as to be r value is greater than 0. R value is to be greater than. Now, the signs of the functions are to be dependent upon the signs of x and y. Before what we call, we have to say that the trigonometric ratios are mostly depends upon the values of x and y. Before we have to see in some of the slides, what is x and y? That means the length of the x-axis and the length of the y-axis. If the length is to be, that is that should be depends upon the sine theta, cos theta, trigonometric ratios are to be depends upon the values of x and y only. Therefore, we can determine the sign of the functions by knowing the quadrant in which the terminal side of the angle lies. In which the terminal side is angle lies. So, we can classify this coordinate plane into the 4 parts. Please all of you keep in mind. This is very, very important. So, I have to divide this coordinate plane into the 4 types, 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants. This is called as the first quadrant. This is called as the first quadrant, and this is called as the second quadrant, and this is called as the third quadrant, and this is called as the fourth quadrant. fourth quadrant. I had to split like this. Okay, before you had to call it as that is 0 degrees and that is 90 and this is 180 degrees and this is 270 and this is to be, so again 360 degrees. That means one total cyclic rotation is to be completed. Once total cyclic rotation is to be completed, I had to split like this. Now, so in that all the trigonometric ratios are to be positive. The first quadrant that having all the trigonometric ratios that should be available, that is sine, cos, tan, cosecant, secant, cot. All these trigonometric ratios are to be positive in the first quadrant. That is why, so we have to know the rule of this for finding of this all silver teacups. Please all of you look at the board. That is all silver teacups. That means whatever you have to consider the first letters. All means whatever the trigonometric ratios, sine, cos, tan, cosecant, secant, cot, all are to be positive in the first quadrant of the coordinate plane. And the first letter is to be started with sine. That means the sine theta and the reciprocal of the sine theta both are to be positive, remaining all other the negative. Therefore, this is in that second quadrant of the coordinate plane, sine theta and cosecant theta only positive. Please all of you keep in your mind. And also t. T means, that means whatever the trigonometric ratio is to be started with the letter tan. Therefore, this is called it as, that is tan theta and the reciprocal of this tan theta is cot theta. Only these two are to be positive. Remaining other trigonometric ratios are to be negative. In that similar way, C represents cups. Cups. C represents cups. So that means the cosine of the angle. Therefore, cos theta and the reciprocal of this, so that is secant theta, both are to be only positive. Remaining all other trigonometric ratios are to be negative. Okay. So that is why I have to split like this. That is all silver teacups. This formula I have to apply. Now, again you have to start this. So this is called as all. Next one in that second quadrant, that means so sine theta and cosecant theta only positive. And in this that is tan theta and cot theta are only positive. And here in the third quadrant, this is cos theta and secant theta. The reciprocal of this, both are to be positive, remaining all other negatives. Okay. So here, so this is called as plus, plus, and this is minus, plus. That means the x values, because we have to consider as this is x axis and this is to be y axis. Therefore, this is the positive values of the x axis and the negative value of the x axis. Therefore, you have to consider, so that is x coordinate value is to be negative and the y coordinate value is to be positive. And that similarly, this is to be minus of minus and this is to be plus comma minus. Please observe this. These are the values of x coordinate and y coordinate. So, because every point is to be represented in the form of the ordered pairs. That is what we call it as x comma y only. Here, first one represents the x value and the second one represents the y value. Therefore, in that first quadrant, both are to be positive. That means, whatever we had to say in the previous, that is the values of the trigonometric ratios are mostly depends upon the values of x and y. That already we had to see in the previous slides. That is why I have to instict the conditions here. Both x and y has the positive values. In that case only, all the trigonometric ratios are to be positive. That is why I have to take, that is all the functions are to be positive. In that similar way, x value is to be negative and y value is to be positive, because we are going to the reverse anti-clockwise direction. This is called as the anti-clockwise direction. Clockwise means this one and anti-clockwise this means this one. I have to consider like this. Please all of you keep in your mind. So therefore, so whenever we have to move to the second quadrant, then x value is to be negative and y value is to be positive. That is why we have to take the reciprocals of the sine theta and the cosecant theta are only positive. Whatever the remaining other trigonometric ratios, all are to be negative. Now, similarly, this is the symbol for minus of minus, because this area is to be applicable only for the negative side of the x-axis and the negative side of the y-axis. That is why I have to take the values for negative, that is minus minus. So, in that tan theta and cot theta, that means tangent and cotangent, both are to be positive, and all other remaining trigonometric ratios all are to be negative. Here plus minus means, here what is this value? X value is to be positive, because this is the positive x-axis and this value is to be the negative value. Therefore, this x value is to be positive and y value is to be negative. Then in that case, cos theta and secant theta both are to be positive, and whatever the remaining ratios all are to be the negative in the fourth quadrant. All of you catch my point? Now, this is in the quadrant, both the x and y values are to be positive, so all the trigonometric functions will be positive. That is in the first quadrant. This is in the first quadrant. Now, let us look at the signs of the sine, cosine and the tangent in the other quadrants. Reciprocal functions will have the same sign as the original, since flipping a fraction over does not change its sign. That means whatever you have to learn, that is sine, cosecant theta, both are to be reciprocal angles, reciprocal ratios. Therefore, sine theta and cosecant theta both having the same values. Here also in the third quadrant, tan theta and the reciprocal of the tan theta is cot theta, both are to be positive, and here cos theta and reciprocal of the angle ratio is to be secant theta, both are to be positive. Now, in the quadrant 2, that is x is to be negative and y is to be positive. X is to be negative and y is to be positive, this one. So, we can see from this that any value that requires the adjacent side will then have a negative sign on it. So, that is why in that case, so x value is to be negative and y value is to be positive. So, I have to consider this. We can see from this that any value that requires the adjacent side with then have a negative sign on it. Now, this is the third one. So, in the third quadrant, this is the third quadrant. In the third quadrant means this is Q3. This is Q3 and this is Q1 and this is Q2. Q2. Now, in that hypotenuse is always positive. So, if we have either adjacent or the opposite with the hypotenuse, we will get the negative. So, if we have both opposite and adjacent side, the negatives will be cancelled. In that similar way, so in the fourth quadrant, x is to be positive and y is to be negative. So any function using the opposite will be negative. That is why in that case, the sine cos, so that is cos theta only the positive and the remaining two, sine and tan theta are to be negative. So in that third quadrant, tan theta is to be only positive, remaining trigonometric ratios, that is sine and cos, so both are to be negative. In that similar way, that is in the second quadrant also, the second quadrant, sine cos here, so this is sine theta is to be, sine theta is to be